Life is a beautiful rhythm, but sometimes the soul needs a quiet pause, something deeper than rest, something that reconnects us with clarity, gratitude, and peace. Thanks to KIM Vakfı, we stepped away from the endless cycle of work and family responsibilities and entered a journey centered purely on remembrance of Allah, a moment that allowed our hearts to breathe again. As we gathered for this spiritual walk, the day carried a comforting calmness, guiding us gently toward Bursa's most treasured sites. Our walk first brought us to Yeşil Mosque, the Green Mosque, one of the finest early Ottoman masterpieces built in the early 1400s. During the rule of Sultan Mehmed I, this mosque carries within its walls the silent stories of devotion, victory, loss, and rebirth, the very emotions that shaped the Ottoman Empire. Walking through the entrance, you immediately feel the shift. The world becomes quieter, the heart becomes softer, and even the air seems different. The exterior stonework, weathered by more than 6 centuries of seasons, still stands proudly with its carved inscriptions and marble panels, each one a reminder of the remarkable craftsmanship that defined early Ottoman architecture. Even the gateway itself feels symbolic, as if you are stepping out of the noise of dunya and entering a sanctuary built purely for remembrance. As we stepped inside, the turquoise tiles glowed under the natural light, tiles crafted by master artisans who poured not just skill, but faith into every detail. These tiles, decorated with floral motifs, Quranic inscriptions, and deep emerald tones, have mesmerized visitors for more than 600 years. Their colors were inspired by the gardens of heaven, reminding believers that beauty is a form of worship. Standing in front of them reminds you that devotion in Islam is not only found in prayer, but also in the creation of beauty, precision, and harmony meant to inspire worship. The mihrab, the domes, the arches, each piece of architecture was designed with perfect geometry, reflecting the belief that symmetry mirrors divine order. The dome above carries verses from the Quran, and when sunlight touches the calligraphy, the gold shines as if illuminated from within. Even the wooden doors and panels are carved with delicate patterns, each swirl and curve a testament to the patience and dedication of the artists. The echoing silence within the mosque feels like prayer itself, and as we walked slowly through the hall, we sensed the same peace felt by countless generations before us. Scholars seeking knowledge, kings seeking guidance, travelers seeking shelter, mothers praying for their children, and children learning their first surahs, all seeking closeness to Allah in their own ways. Yeşil Mosque was more than a place of prayer. It was part of a larger complex that once held a madrasa, a kitchen for the needy, and spaces to strengthen community bonds. This was the Ottoman way, faith and service intertwined. The complex reflected a society built on compassion, teaching the young, feeding the hungry, and caring for strangers. The mosque wasn't just a building, it was the heart of a living, breathing community. As we explored the courtyard, the winter sun cast soft shadows across the stone pathways, making the atmosphere even more serene. The fountain in the center once provided water for ablution, and the sound of running water would echo gently across the courtyard, reminding worshippers of purification before prayer. Even today, the remnants of that tradition can be felt in the stillness of the space. Bursa, the first capital of the Ottoman Empire, has always been a bridge between spirituality and history, a place where every corner whispers a story, and this mosque stands as one of its most powerful storytellers. The wind, the architecture, the distant call to prayer, all blend into a feeling that is difficult to describe, but impossible to forget. Our walk continued down the peaceful road leading to the Islamic Art Museum. Although we didn't enter, simply standing in its front yard was enough to appreciate the essence of Islamic artistic heritage. The geometric patterns carved into the walls, the framed calligraphy visible through the windows, and the museum's majestic presence reminded us that Islamic art has always been a form of worship, an attempt to reflect the perfection of the divine through symmetry, balance, and elegance. Even a brief moment outside the museum felt like walking through a gallery of history, where every line and curve pointed toward centuries of creativity dedicated to Allah. As we wandered between the small stalls, the soft chatter of artisans and the subtle clinking of handcrafted items created a warm, nostalgic atmosphere, making the bazaar feel like a living museum, where history, creativity, and culture continue to thrive in the simplest, most heartfelt ways. We paused to admire the delicate patterns etched onto clay bowls, each design inspired by centuries-old motifs found in Ottoman mosques and palaces nearby. A craftsman carefully shaped a piece of olive wood, his hands moving with the confidence of someone who had learned this art from his father and grandfather. Every item carried a story of patience, dedication, and pride in preserving traditional skills. Even the textiles hanging in soft waves above the stalls, dyed in earthy tones, reflected the natural beauty of Anatolian craftsmanship. Walking through this little bazaar felt like stepping briefly into a world where time slows down, where handmade work still holds value, and where the heart recognizes beauty in the smallest details. It was a reminder that culture isn't only preserved in grand museums, it also lives quietly in everyday spaces, kept alive by people who pour love into what they create. Our journey then led us to a cozy cafe nearby, where the tone of the day shifted from quiet contemplation to warm connection. With cups of hot tea in our hands and crispy simit on the table, we shared laughter, photos, reflections, and small stories from our lives. These simple, heartfelt interactions reminded us how community completes the spiritual journey, how faith is nurtured not only through prayer and reflection, but also through companionship, kindness, and meaningful conversation. The cafe felt like a gentle ending to a long, soul-refreshing walk, a place where the peace we gathered throughout the day settled into comfort. Sitting together in that moment made us realize how rarely we slow down, how easily life becomes a list of tasks, and how important it is to pause, reconnect with the self, and recognize the blessings that surround us. This day was more than a photo walk. It was a chance to realign our hearts, to feel gratitude for history, culture, faith, and friendship. It was a reminder that spiritual nourishment doesn't always require grand actions. Sometimes it simply requires stepping away from routine and allowing yourself to be present. Today's journey through Bursa's sacred and historic places left us lighter, calmer, and more connected. A day of spiritual cleansing, cultural immersion, and warm companionship, a needed shift for the soul. And sometimes all it takes is one thoughtful pause to remind us what truly matters. As our day came to a close and our hearts felt lighter and more connected, we hope this journey through Bursa's history, culture, and spiritual spaces inspired you as much as it inspired us. If you enjoyed this walk and the stories we shared, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more journeys that bring history, art, and faith to life. Your support helps us continue exploring and sharing these beautiful moments with you.